The internal memo was never meant to leave the server room at Giga Texas. Timestamped at 3:14 a.m. on a Tuesday, the digital correspondence between the lead structural engineer and the procurement division was brief, panicked, and devastatingly clear regarding the micron-level tolerances of the stainless steel exoskeleton. It detailed a catastrophic failure rate in the stamping process that wasn't just a manufacturing hiccup, but a fundamental flaw in the physics of the vehicle's design. This isn't just a story about a polarizing truck or a celebrity CEO's ego project. This is the forensic accounting of a $25 billion gamble that has pushed the world's most valuable automaker to the absolute brink of an industrial precipice. To understand the gravity of the Cybertruck disaster, we have to bypass the Twitter hype and look directly into the blast furnace of its creation. The story begins not with a sketch, but with a lie about a price tag. When the world was promised a $40,000 fortress on wheels, the internal financial models were already screaming red. The cost of 30x cold-rolled stainless steel, a proprietary alloy originally developed for the Starship rocket program, does not behave like traditional automotive sheet metal. It fights back. It destroys stamping dies. It possesses a spring-back coefficient that makes mass production a living nightmare for manufacturing engineers. We have obtained access to supply chain documents that reveal the sheer scale of the panic inside Tesla's headquarters when the realization hit. The machines needed to build this machine didn't exist. They had to invent the Giga Press, a casting monster with 9,000 tons of clamping force, just to reduce the part count enough to make the vehicle theoretically assemblable. But simplification created complexity. By casting the front and rear underbodies as single massive aluminum pieces, any defect meant scrapping the entire section. The wastage rates in early production runs were reportedly hovering near 40%, a cash incinerator burning through millions of dollars of raw aluminum every single week. This is the brutal reality of the sunk cost fallacy playing out on a global stage. The decision to use an unpainted stainless steel skin wasn't a stylistic choice. It was a corner they painted themselves into. Without paint, you have nowhere to hide. Every panel gap, every misalignment, every variation in the steel's grain direction is visible to the naked eye from 50 feet away. In the automotive world, paint and clear coat are the makeup that hides the blemishes of mass production. The Cybertruck stripped that away, exposing the raw, ugly truth of assembly tolerances. Whistleblowers from the Fremont and Austin lines have described a culture of fix-it-in-post, where vehicles are pushed off the line with known defects simply to meet quarterly delivery numbers, leaving service centers to deal with the fallout. But the cosmetic issues are merely the surface rust on a structural disaster. The real horror story lies beneath the floorboards, in the battery pack. The 4680 cell was supposed to be the revolution. It was touted as the holy grail of energy density and manufacturing efficiency, the dry electrode technology that would have the cost of batteries. The reality? It is a production hellscape. The yield rates for dry coating the cathode material have been abysmal. The machines clog, the material tears, and the density targets are missed. The Cybertruck launched with a range significantly lower than promised, not because the aerodynamics were worse than expected, though a drag coefficient of 0.34 for a brick is actually impressive, but because the energy density of the 4680 cells failed to meet the theoretical limits projected in 2019. They're shipping a compromise, a heavy, expensive, compromised battery pack that requires the vehicle to haul around thousands of pounds of deadweight just to achieve parity with competitors using older technology. And then there is the steer-by-wire system. This is perhaps the most terrifying aspect of the gamble. By removing the physical connection between the steering wheel and the tires, Tesla has placed the lives of passengers entirely in the hands of lines of code and redundant electrical motors. While the aviation industry has used fly-by-wire for decades, they operate in the open sky with strict maintenance schedules and trained pilots. Putting a redundant, less steering system in the hands of the general public on salt-corroded roads, with software updates pushed over the air, is a level of liability that legacy automakers have avoided for a reason. If the low-voltage architecture fails, if the 48-volt system, which is revolutionary, admittedly suffers a catastrophic short, the truck becomes a guided missile. The delay in the Cybertruck's release wasn't just about supply chains. It was about engineers terrified of the death wobble in early prototypes where the latency between steering input and wheel reaction caused oscillation loops at highway speeds. They fixed it with software dampening, but the physics remain. We must also address the financial hemorrhage. The development cost of the Cybertruck is estimated to be north of $5 billion, but the tooling and factory upgrades push the total commitment toward $25 billion. For a company that relies on the Model Y and Model 3 for its bread and butter, diverting the best engineering talent to a niche halo product was a strategic dereliction of duty. While BYD and Chinese competitors were refining affordable EVs and flooding the global market, Tesla was distracted by a Polygon. The opportunity cost of the Cybertruck is not measured in the money spent, but in the 5 years of stagnation in the mass market segment. They didn't build the Model 2, they built a tank for the apocalypse. And now, the market is speaking. The early reservation numbers, touted as exceeding 2 million, are evaporating. The conversion rate, the number of people actually writing the $100,000 check, is a fraction of the initial interest. Why? Because the economy of 2024 is not the economy of 2019. Interest rates are up, liquidity is down, and a six-figure toy that struggles to fit in a standard garage is the first thing cut from the budget. We are witnessing the collision of hubris and macroeconomics. The resale market, initially seeing trucks flip for double MSRP, has crashed. Values are plummeting faster than a sinking stone. This indicates that demand is not infinite, it is shallow. The Foundation Series markups were a desperate attempt to claw back margin from early adopters before the inevitable price cuts destroy the brand's luxury perception. Furthermore, the safety concerns regarding the rigid exoskeleton are mounting. Modern cars are designed to crumple. They sacrifice themselves to save the occupant. The Cybertruck is designed to survive. When a rigid object hits a solid barrier, the kinetic energy has to go somewhere. If the car doesn't crumple, the passengers do. The deceleration forces transferred to the human body in a Cybertruck collision are theoretically much higher than in a traditional unibody construction. Regulators in Europe have already signaled that the sharp edges and stiff front end make the vehicle illegal for sale due to pedestrian safety standards. This locks the Cybertruck out of a massive market, confining it essentially to North America and the Middle East. It is a regional product with a global development budget, a recipe for financial inefficiency. Let's look at the off-road capabilities or lack thereof. The locking differentials were software locked at launch. The suspension travel, while air-adjustable, is limited by the geometry of the control arms, which are prone to snapping under lateral load. Videos of Cybertrucks struggling up snowy inclines or shearing wheels off in sand dunes are not just anecdotal. They are evidence of a suspension system designed for a render, not for the trail. The control arms are stamped steel, not forged, a cost-saving measure that introduces a weak point in a 3-ton vehicle. When you combine 3 tons of mass with instant torque and weak suspension linkage, you get catastrophic failure. This is basic mechanical engineering that was sidelined for the sake of the aesthetic. The exoskeleton narrative itself is largely marketing fluff. Underneath the stainless skin, there are still traditional stampings and castings. It is a hybrid unibody, not a true exoskeleton in the biological sense. But the marketing required it to be different, so the engineering had to bend to the narrative. This backward approach, design dictating engineering, is the exact opposite of the form follows function philosophy that built the safest and most reliable cars in history. We're looking at a vehicle where the wiper blade alone, a single massive beam, caused months of aerodynamic headaches and motor burnout issues. A windshield wiper that costs nearly as much as a used sedan to replace. This is the fractally wrong design philosophy. Solving problems that shouldn't exist, creating new problems in the process, and billing the customer for the innovation. The Cybertruck is not a truck, it is a manifesto. And like most manifestos, it is disconnected from the messy reality of the world. The brutal truth is that Tesla bet the farm on a meme. They bet that the cult of personality would override the laws of physics and economics. For a while it worked. The stock price held. The fans cheered. But gravity, like the rust forming on those stainless panels, is inevitable. The lawsuits are coming. The class actions regarding range, the investigations into suspension failures, the regulatory crackdowns on the steer-by-wire redundancies. It is a tsunami forming on the horizon. And unlike the Cybertruck's window glass, the company's financials are not shatterproof. When we analyze the warranty reserves Tesla is setting aside for this vehicle, the numbers are alarming. They anticipate a failure rate 3 times higher than the Model Y. They know. The engineers know. The accountants know. The only people who don't know are the ones currently on the waiting list. This documentary is not just a review of a car. It is an autopsy of a corporate culture that forgot that at the end of the day, a car must be a car before it can be a spaceship. It must start, it must stop, and it must not rust in the rain. The Cybertruck fails at the basics while succeeding at the unnecessary. It is the most impressive, technologically advanced disaster in automotive history. And as the dust settles in the Texas desert and the thousands of unsold units begin to pile up and overflow lots, visible from satellite imagery, which we will show you later, one question remains. Was it worth it? Was the clout worth the capital? Because when the history books are written, the Cybertruck may not be remembered as the vehicle that saved the future, but as the anchor that dragged the giant down. The manufacturing hell is not over. It has just migrated from the factory floor to the service center. Every delivered unit is a ticking time bomb of liability. The sheer arrogance of releasing a beta product to the public at this price point is staggering. And yet, there is a tragedy here, because the engineering talent required to build this thing is undeniable. The 48-volt architecture is brilliant. The Ethernet loop data bus is revolutionary. If these technologies had been applied to a standard, affordable, mass-market electric pickup, Tesla would have buried Ford and Rivian. Instead, they wrapped the future in a package so divisive it alienated half the market instantly. They chose cyber over truck, and in the automotive industry, the truck always wins. The road is littered with the corpses of companies that tried to reinvent the wheel. Tesla tried to reinvent the entire car, all at once, in public. The result is a fractured promise. As we go deeper into the specific component failures, from the tonneau cover that eats itself to the microscopic fractures in the Giga castings, remember this. Every single part of this truck was a choice. A choice to ignore convention. A choice to ignore risk. A choice to gamble $25 billion on the idea that the rules didn't apply to them. But the rules always apply. Eventually,